For me, advocacy has been a lot of different things. One of the things that I got involved in back in 2014, I had a friend who was a hospice. He actually had started out, he was a nurse in the hospital as a discharge planner. And he had moved into hospice, and he would run into all these home care agencies, and we would all be preaching the same story about how not all home care agencies are the same. And he was like, "What do you mean by that?" And we would give him the same story. And finally, he started calling us up individually. And he called up and he's like, "I just want to know, is it true that not all home care agencies are the same?" And we all had the exact same message that no, we're not. Because there's no regulation, some of us are W-2 employees, have our W-2 employees. We're going to be having oversight. We're going to be training. We're going to hold ourselves to the higher standard. Others are using 1099. And so that risk and liability is being passed on to the clients. Doesn't mean that they're still doing a great service. They're still aligning great people with the clients and things like that. But there's a big distinction between who's responsible for employment taxes and injuries and things like that. So we ended up coming together, and it ended up being 4 home care agency owners and this hospice person. And we came together and we called ourselves the Safe Home Care Coalition. And with that, we came together to just educate our healthcare providers. Was our main focus in the beginning, is educating our healthcare providers between the differences of home care agencies. And what he had explained is that when he was working as a discharge planner in the hospital, he would talk to the families and he'd be like, "All home care agencies are the same, just pick any of them, here's the cheapest one," and hand them a brochure, and they would be like, "Oh, fantastic." But the problem is that he wasn't realizing that that cheapest one may not be covering the employment taxes and the work injuries and things like that. And so when he found out that there was a difference, and that some of us are going to be overseeing the caregivers and training them and having a different approach to it, he was like, there is a huge difference between that. So with that, we started coming together and educating, and we got in front of case managers at several of the hospitals, and a lot of the hospitals changed up exactly how they were going to approach that. So one of the hospitals contacted me years ago about how they had referred to a home care agency that was a bad actor. And I'm not sure exactly what happened exactly, but there was an injury or fatality that happened, and the family went to sue the company who should have been liable for it. But because of the way that the structure was set up and the contract that they had signed with this particular company, there was no liability to it because they were the accidental employer. And so they turned around and had sued the hospital. And so we all have to stop and just be really very much aware of who we're utilizing, and just be eyes wide open, know exactly what you're getting when you're walking into it. So that was how the Safe Home Care Coalition was formed. We still continue to meet today, continuing to educate everything from families to communities, to hospitals, to discharge planners, whoever we can tell, and continue to educate and advocate for seniors in Arizona.